Hello, welcome back to the Road to Episode 8, my ongoing series where I chart the road to the release of Star Wars Episode 8 in May 2017. We're going to be back now to doing regular videos, hopefully, about the Road to Episode 8 and all kind of Star Wars news that goes along with it. I should turn off my my sound on my phone. Is actually Forkawall telling me how unrealistic it was that Rey beat Kylo Ren in The Force Awakens, and I was arguing vehemently against that, but he seems to think that it's very unrealistic or whatever. I didn't actually read what he said. Actually, he said he should have been able to land one blow. He's still better with a light stick than she is before she lets in the Force. Well, Ian, he ain't sold with The Force Awakens, unfortunately, but that's okay. Speaking of being sold, this is what we're going to talk about. Brilliant segue, awesome. Thanks, Ian. Speaking of sold, I think that Disney, they're probably laughing it up right now with the money that just keeps pouring in from The Force Awakens. We're going to talk about the performance of The Force Awakens. Now, I was going to talk about this when it came out and kind of the opening numbers, but I figured I'd wait a while and kind of just have the time to talk about it once, you know, more records are starting to be broken and kind of the big, you know, kind of all-time films were being targeted, I guess. So, as expected, Star Wars The Force Awakens has broken the opening weekend domestic box office record. Domestic means basically in the United States. You know, Disney released a press release saying that it made an estimated $238 million on the opening weekend, with a 5-day international debut of $279 million. The film had taken in $517 million globally within like the first 5 days. It was ridiculous. The previous opening weekend domestic box office record was held by Jurassic World, which opened to $208 million earlier this year. Now, we talked about how the pre-sale just smashed everything that came before it, and the same just kept continuing. It had the best, the biggest Thursday preview gross with $57 million, the biggest Friday and the biggest single day gross ever with $120.5 million on Friday, the opening Friday. The first film to ever have over $100 million in one day. The fastest film to $100 million, the fastest film to $200 million, the biggest December debut ever, nearly 3 times the previous record of $84.6 million, the biggest IMAX Thursday night preview ever, the biggest IMAX single day and weekend ever, the highest theatre average for a wide release. And so yeah, it debuted day and date internationally in nearly every market, with the exception of Greece and India, which opened on Christmas Eve, and China, which still hasn't even opened yet. And China is a huge market, and so that's going to be the interesting point, is on January 9th and the days following that, to see how big the global gross is going to go up once China are going to get their eyes on the film. Biggest opening weekend of all time in the UK, Australia, Russia, Germany, Sweden, Norway, Finland, Austria, Poland, Denmark, Romania, Hungary, Bulgaria, Croatia, Ukraine, Iceland, Serbia, New Zealand. Second biggest opening weekend in France, Belgium, Israel and Chile, and the biggest IMAX global debut of $48 million. Now, this was all within the first few days. I mean, so now I kind of pulled up some stuff from recently. Now, I'm not sure if it'll say exactly what it's at now, but I think it's somewhere over it's over $700 million, I think, domestically. It's about $1.5 billion worldwide now. So yeah, it'll probably need a few days from now, if not already, because I think this came from yesterday, this news I'm reading right now from Forbes. But yeah, pretty much this week it's going to be Avatar as the biggest money-making film of all time in the United States domestically. It earned an insane $90.24 million this past weekend, which I think is probably the biggest third weekend ever of a film as well. So yeah, it says the $18.4 million that The Force Awakens needs to become the biggest movie ever in America is too much to expect for its first Monday, where everyone's gone back to work and school, but it will probably happen at some point this week. But it says it took Titanic 86 days to pass the $460 million gross of Star Wars. It took Avatar 47 days to top the $600 million theatrical total of Titanic. And so yeah, I mean, the number 1 and the number 2 film of all time, Titanic and Avatar, they both took, like, you know, months to beat the previous record holder, and within what, 17, 18 days, I think it is. Maybe 19 days, I'm not sure exactly. It says, yeah, 19 or 20 days, The Force Awakens is pretty much getting to the #1 spot, which is crazy. So yeah, at some point, it says on Tuesday or Wednesday, it'll probably be the biggest film ever in America. So it's, you know, it's gonna sink the Titanic, as someone has already said. It's gonna tame Jurassic World. It's melted Frozen, and yeah, it's on its way to being, you know, at least the biggest film in America. The global, worldwide best film of all time, though, that is up for debate, because there's a lot of money that needs to be brought in to get to that point, because Avatar did huge worldwide, you know, in foreign markets and stuff. So that's going to be interesting. But yeah, it's this easily claimed the biggest weekend 3 in history, well above Avatar's third weekend, and it's reasonable to assume that it will beat Avatar's fourth weekend as well and continue on. But you know, it probably will start winding down now that the holiday season is over. But I mean, it depends how long they keep the film in the cinema. You know, there's still people going to be going. I mean, I know people who are going, who are going to see the film for a second time, and they're not even big Star Wars fans, they're not even big film fans. I see on Facebook, like, I'm going to see Star Wars again because it was amazing. They're not really big Star Wars fans, they're not really big movie fans, but they loved it that much, they're going to see it again. And that is the key, I think, to how it's making so much money, is that not only are the fans like me going to see it 4 times, but people who aren't even that big fans just love the film and wanted to go and see it again. So I think that's really the key as to why it's making so much money, as well as the fans. It's the non-fans as well who are kind of digging it. So yeah, by the time it crosses Avatar domestically as the biggest grossing film in American history, it will be the first time in 18 years that a film not directed by James Cameron will be the top grossing film of all time in America, and for the first time in 40 years, a film not directed by James Cameron, George Lucas or Steven Spielberg will be at the top of the domestic list, which is pretty cool, I think. So yeah, it says it's not certain that it'll top the worldwide total of Avatar, which is $2.7 billion, and Titanic is $2.1 billion. It is currently, the global total is $1.5 billion for The Force Awakens, which puts it ahead of Avengers Age of Ultron, which is at 1.4, and just under Furious 7, which is 1.5 as well, and Jurassic World, which is 1.6. And so, yeah, it seems pretty obvious that it's going to beat, or also the first Avengers film as well. It seems clear that The Force Awakens is going to overtake Furious 7, is going to overtake the Avengers, overtake Jurassic World, thank God. And but whether it'll get to Titanic, I think Titanic is a possibility, but I don't think it'll beat Avatar. I don't think it's got the legs in it. But it may happen, I don't know. It depends how long they keep it in the cinemas, it depends how long people keep going to see it. But I feel like the initial buzz is kind of gone now. That's just the way I see it, so yeah. Anyway, that's about it for the box office stuff. It's made a shit ton of money, let's just put it that way. I should have just said that, but I think it's pretty cool. And I believe the makers of Jurassic World, they put out a picture which kind of harkened back to the tradition back in the 80s, which was a picture of I think the T-Rex putting a medal onto BB-8 to congratulate Star Wars for like the biggest opening weekend by beating Jurassic World, I guess, which is really cool. It goes back to like the 80s where, like, you know, Spielberg and George Lucas would trade these kind of pictures put out in the newspapers of like congratulating each other for E.T. being the biggest film and then Star Wars being, you know, that kind of stuff. That was kind of cool. I think they did the same with Jurassic World, actually. I think they had something with the Avengers or something like that, and I like that tradition coming back. It's a cool thing between companies who have far too much money, but it's still kind of fun. Yeah, there's lots to talk about anyway. I've got a lot more videos to come in this series. I want to talk about the Snoke theories. I want to talk about all my reasons why Rey is definitely Luke's daughter. Again, just expect spoilers from now on. I think you've all seen the film. And what else is there? I want to talk about what we know so far about Episode 8. I want to talk about, you know, get into the Episode 8 stuff finally. But I want to, you know, I want to review the soundtrack for The Force Awakens. I want to talk about my experience going to see it in IMAX 3D. There's lots of stuff to come, so rest assured there'll be loads of Star Wars videos, but there'll be loads of other videos as well, and my channel won't be solely focused on Star Wars like it was for pretty much most of December. Now, I want to talk about the cameos in The Force Awakens. Now, there's, like, you know, certain cameos like Admiral Akbar or Nia Num or Carrie Fisher's daughter, Billy Lord. I forget her character's name, but there was I saw a name in the credits. She had a character name, and that made me think of Star Wars as well. Was just like how every little minor character had a name, you know. And it's like, wow, that's a character. It's not just a, you know, I like that. I like that Billie Lourd had her own character name in the credits. Also loved, I don't know if I talked about this before, but I loved how Mark Hamill is like billed second from the top. I just fucking love that, even though he's in the film for like 30 seconds. It was like, Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, and it's like, yeah, he should have just been at the end saying, and also Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker, but I loved how it was. I think I already talked about that, but whatever. Now, I've been going on the Reddit pages, you know, now that everything's out there and I don't have to get spoiled, and someone was saying that they heard Obi Wan speaking in Rey's vision when she touches the lightsaber, and I thought, they're just mishearing that, surely. It's not Obi Wan in that vision. And then someone posted a video of it that they filmed in the cinema, and I watched it, and my blood ran cold. I was like, holy shit, that's Obi Wan. That sounds like Alec Guinness as Obi Wan. Now, you know, they could pipe in, you know, the audio from the original films, and it's no big deal, but it was Obi Wan, Alec Guinness, saying Rey. He was calling out to Rey. Couldn't believe it. Could not believe it. I couldn't go to sleep that night. I was so buzzed. I was like, what does this mean? What does this mean? Why is Obi-Wan calling to Rey? Like, there's so many implications. I couldn't believe it. And you can hear Yoda as well, like dialogue from Empire Strikes Back, where he's like, its energy surrounds us, binds us. And then there's someone saying, these are your first steps. And then clearly Alec Guinness saying, Rey? And I was just like, what the, oh my god. And I was trying to talk to people about it. I was like, what does this mean? I was just like, I wanted to make a video about it straight away, but I didn't want to spoil it for anyone who hadn't seen the film, even the smallest detail, even though this is such a small part of the film. And I knew that I'd put it in the thumbnail, so I didn't want to spoil anyone, so I waited for a couple of weeks. You're welcome. I didn't want to spoil any little thing, so it's safe to talk about it now. About a day after that, I was still like, what does this mean? And James Arnold Taylor on Twitter, who is a voiceover artist, he hosted many of the things at Celebration last year. He does a really good Alec Guinness impression. I believe he's voiced Obi-Wan in some cartoon or something. He confirmed that he was a part of the voice cast of the film, additional voices. And so people thinking, well, maybe he did the Obi-Wan. And someone asked him, did you say the line, Rey? And he said, yes, I did. But then they replaced me with Ewan McGregor. And it was like, holy shit, Ewan McGregor is in The Force Awakens as Obi-Wan Kenobi saying Rey. And he sounds just like Alec Guinness. I mean, I just can't believe how perfectly he pulled off Alec Guinness. A few days later, interview with J.J. Abrams and Lawrence Kasdan, the writers of the film, of course J.J. the director. Lawrence Kasdan, he wrote Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, and they confirmed in this, I think it was a talk actually after a screening or something, and they confirmed that Ewan McGregor came in to record lines for the film. And they also got Frank Oz to come back as Yoda. He recorded lines for the film as well. They didn't use them. I think they used the dialogue from Empire Strikes Back. But they say that they're not ruling out the possibility of using Frank Oz's voice in maybe the future films. And they said that the idea was just kind of that. Actually, I think I've got the quote up here. I should be looking at it really, shouldn't I? Hang on just a second. I had the quotes. I don't want to lose my track here. Oh, I guess I don't really have, but basically I'm pretty sure that they said, yeah, it says you hear a little bit Yoda, you hear Luke yelling no from Empire, and then you hear Obi-Wan at the end say, Rey, these are your first steps. We got Ewan McGregor to come in, blah blah blah. And so, yeah, it doesn't say it here, but I'm pretty sure that I read that J.J. Abrams said that it was kind of just like Rey was kind of connecting with the Force, and you know, people who are very strong within the Force were reaching back to her. And so, I don't know, but I mean, I was thinking maybe because I think Rey is Luke's daughter, maybe when Luke had Rey as a little girl, Obi-Wan was there and she knew Obi-Wan or something. I don't know. I mean, what would happen after Return of the Jedi, you know? As soon as Luke kind of put his arm on the tree and looked out and was like, hey guys, and they're like, oh well, Luke's done good, let's go and just you know, disappear into nothing for the rest of eternity, or do they just hang around? You know, is Luke there going, oh yeah, I'm going to train some Jedi, and Yoda's like, sounds good, yeah, and Anakin's like, yeah, why not, you know? What happens after that? We don't know. That's the interesting thing. I wouldn't want to see a heavy presence of them in the films at all, because I feel like it ruins the mystique a little bit. I liked how Obi-Wan just turned up in, you know, spirit form when he was needed the most. You know, I feel like that's where they're best utilised at, and just, but yeah, it makes me wonder, you know, did Rey know Obi-Wan, or did Obi-Wan know Rey? And then I kind of think part of my theory is that Rey isn't her real name. You know, how could it be? But then, how would Obi-Wan know to call Rey? It's just so confusing, but at the same time so cool. But the real cool thing is, you know, they got Ewan to come in and say, Rey, and these are your first steps. And they're working on editing the sequence, and Brian Burke, one of the producers of the film, surprised J.J. Abrams one day. with, you know, the recording of Obi Wan saying Rey, and JJ said, I said, that's cool, is that thing from Ewan McGregor we did? And he said, no, we took a line from Alec Guinness from the original film saying afraid, and we clipped the beginning and the end of the word off, and it sounds like, and JJ Abrams was like, that was so fucking cool. He's saying that it was like how I would have begged Alec Guinness to deliver that line, you know, Rey, you know, and again, I think it's amazing, and when I saw the film again in the cinema, I listened out for it, it was just incredible. Alec Guinness is in The Force Awakens. How fucking awesome is that? I love it. But the thing is, Ewan McGregor also recorded the lines, "These are your first steps," and they sound very light to me. They don't even sound like his Obi Wan. So I don't know. That's the only thing that kind of, yeah, I'm not sure about that part. He doesn't sound like Obi Wan when he says that. You know, to me it sounds almost like a woman's voice. It's quite a light. "These are your first steps," you know. But I don't know. But it's very cool that Ewan McGregor reprised his role, albeit very small, and then Alec Guinness beyond the grave, you know. I just find that to be so cool, that Alec Guinness's voice saying Rey is in The Force Awakens. That to me is fucking brilliant, and the sound guy who managed to clip that and make it sound like it is just genius, and he should have got a credit at the end, you know, Alec Guinness as Obi-Wan Kenobi. That would have been awesome. But there we go, more to talk about. Again, I'll be talking about Snoke, I'll be talking about my theory about Rey being Luke's daughter, and the many reasons I think that she is. Probably a review of the soundtrack, which I now love. I love the soundtrack. And then also what we know about Episode 8 moving forward. I'll be covering some Rogue One stuff as that comes out as well. And I'll be doing more reviews as well, like I did towards the tail end of the road to Episode 7. I started reviewing things as well, just to kind of keep the content going. So there's lots to come. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.